Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are, and welcome to NerdTube. We're talking Peacemaker, episode 5, Monkey Dory. I am here with my fellow vigilante in Cousin Cheeto. How you doing?
Hi.
All right, so we're back on the Peacemaker trail here, and this is regarding the Gore Fest. This was definitely one of the most goriest of episodes. I'm not sure if we necessarily progressed that much regarding the story today, but nevertheless, I still liked it. Sometimes you can get an episode where we're just getting to know our characters and following them about a little bit. Nothing really much goes on with it, but still, it was fun for what it was. How did you find this episode today, mate?
I liked it. But I've liked a lot of these episodes. This episode did feel somewhat like filler until the end, I felt. Like the beginning parts and stuff like that kind of felt like a filler episode. They did do a decent amount of work towards the end to progress the plot, like the overall plot of the season, obviously. And we'll get into it, but some people finding out that some people are butterflies and and stuff like that, and then strapping a grenade to a Russian missile and stuff like that. I mean, just plot driven stuff.
Yeah, I know.
And actually,
So,
I really felt like the end of this episode, Peacemaker got a lot of character development that kind of we've been waiting for, I think, since the beginning.
this was an unusual episode because like, the two main stories were initially uh, continuing with the information Adebayo found out regarding that location they went to where they shot everyone, and also we were following our two cops who have yet to really intertwine themselves with Argos. Trying to find out more about what the hell's going on because they realize that August Smith, Christmas dad, aka Peacemaker's dad, wasn't
AKA
the
White Dragon.
White Dragon is not the person who committed the atrocities at the big. Well, honestly, the atrocities, but blew up that building and all of that. And when they found the fingerprints, it wasn't his. But they know that some framing's going on, and obviously, Sophie Song, the Asian officer, who is kind of torn a little bit regarding this because she's been like racially abused by the White Dragon, being called Lucy Lou and all of that sort of shit, and says that Asian noodles is better than the wok noodle. Sorry for saying that. I do apologize. But that's the sort of stuff that was coming out of his mouth. Having to try and defend a man who's a white supremacist, even though she despises this guy.
Yeah, even
But
though he
there's
really doesn't deserve it, it's still the right thing to do. You know what I mean? Unfortunately,
yeah, unfortunately, because he is innocent,
of this.
and yeah, of this, and we see it. Just we'll start with these two initially, but we see them doing their work, and they get a new police captain. Obviously, this person's been shoehorned in by Argus. Now, I'm not so sure if this person's a butterfly dude. What do you think? This
I don't.
that white guy they brought in.
Yeah, I was still trying to figure that out. I don't know. I mean, I know he obviously is. What's the main guy's name who kind of deploys
Clemens Mern.
Clement Mearns? Yeah, Mearns. I mean, we obviously know that Mearns is a butterfly, but we were speculating last week whether he was going to be a good guy or a bad guy butterfly. And honestly, by the end of this episode, I know I'm jumping ahead a little bit, and I'm not getting into it, but obviously, I still don't think that I'm fully convinced that he is a bad butterfly. Like it's not like he chased her down and he stopped her, but that doesn't mean that he's like going to hurt her. That just means like this might be all a part of their plan, or not plan, but their undercover strategy or whatever.
Sorry, my little bird's making a lot of noise. Come on, get out of here.
Not really.
All right, and yeah, I agree. So, but he's definitely there to keep him in jail, though. They obviously want Peacemaker doing his thing, which is why they don't want him to be arrested. So yeah, that's really his purpose, in my opinion. I did like the way that when he knocked on the window, and while Mearns was doing some work on the laptop, and then realized who it was, and then says, "Fucking knock on the door next time," or something like that, which kind of amused me. There's always little jokes in this. Now, after Peacemaker wakes up from his hangover, he makes himself a rocky breakfast of some raw eggs, and then he pours some honey into the butterfly, which you see eat. And then he's just chilling out. And Eagle, I have to say, this time Eagerly looked more CGI than ever in today's episode. I've I never
I didn't
realized.
notice, so I mean, I'll have to go back and look.
People were saying that he was CGI initially, and I never really picked up on it. But this time round, he looks CGI as fuck. But nevertheless, he's trying to cheer up Peacemaker, getting some kills for him and stuff like that. Trying to give Peacemaker a dead rodent. You can see the sentiment in it. It's lovely. I wish my bird would be.
I say it's like a
that.
cat, like how cats will bring their owners, dead chipmunks and stuff like that.
So we go towards the briefing scene now, and we have them. We get some exposition basically on the butterflies and how they
get some PowerPoint position.
Well, they can enter your body in various ways. Vigilante was a bit weird here because he mentioned they mentioned that they can enter your body through your butt because it's an orifice, and for Vigilante he says just because it goes up your asshole doesn't mean it eats poop or whatever. You're being a bigot or something along those lines. It was a bit of a stupid joke.
I mean, it was a stupid joke because it's like it would probably go for the closest orifice if it could. Like it's got to get to your brain. Going through your ass does not. That's a long trek to get up to your brain. Like it's not just a direct shot up.
Yeah, there's a lot of intestines to go through and everything.
Yeah, so it would just make more sense to going through the nose or the mouth, maybe the ears, but that's still.
No, you're on mute. You muted yourself. Anyways, whilst he's figuring that out, we also Peacemaker mentioned that Superman has a poop fetish. What do you think about that? But apparently aliens have poop fetishes because Superman is alien.
I don't think that's true. I mean, I think because he says in the next line, I Googled it. And then, Harcourt's like, he's like, do you believe everything you Google? I mean, he's like, oh, you know more than Google? I just like sometimes the childish antics are just like, I'm just sitting there going, am I at the dinner table or am I at my dinner table or am I like, I can't sometimes, but I mean, it was humorous for a little bit.
And then he Peacemaker puts all his attention on, is it Ecomos? Is that how you say his surname?
I think so. You know me in names. I'm terrible with them until
I called him Cosmos initially, but John, the guy in the chair, because he's the one who on a whim couldn't figure out anybody else to frame for what Peacemaker did, so he framed his father instead, and then Peacemaker rips into him by mentioning every fucking person on Earth.
Which I really felt like that went on a bit long. Like I could understand naming like 4 or 5 people, but then and then he kept going, and I'm like, okay, we get the joke. Like you're, and then he started mentioning fictional people like Megatron and Optimus Prime,
Cobra Commander,
and I'm like,
yeah, but he goes to him, shut. He was on the roll. He goes, shut the fuck up, you fat fuck. I think I'm loving this John Cena I'm watching right now. For almost 20 years, we've been dying for a John Cena like this in the wrestling. At least we're getting a John Cena like this in movies and television shows. I'm loving it, man. And he's using the C word as well. Like he's saying everything terrible under the sun, and he's really ridiculous. But he obviously has an issue with John because what John did. But all right. They're now on to their mission. They've got this information from Adebayor, and it's a bit unusual as well because we know that Clemens Mearns is obviously under the influence of the butterfly, yet he is spearheading this mission, telling them what to do. This place is the location where all the honey's kept. This is where all the food is kept, and they're listening to some really weird music, by the way, some 80s music, and we get some really funny moments as well. Like one of the songs is just heavy metal with F-bombs in it. And then Peacemaker pulls out another album, and it's got 80s looking rock stars, and Hardcore says, "I don't actually men." I laughed my fucking ass off. I did. I'm a kid of the 80s, not a man or a teenager of the 80s. I was a child of the 80s, and I do remember, like how feminine, you know, men were looking at that particular time. So nowadays, when people say that men are feminine nowadays, just look at the fucking 80s, motherfuckers. You know what I mean? They really were back then, you know. Boy George being another example too, as well, and all of these other guys, Spandau Ballet and stuff like that, the way they looked and everything. So yeah. Anyways, let's not go on the tangent too much about that. But yeah, he finally gets to play one of his tunes, and then luckily for Hardcore, they've already arrived at the location, and it's now time to kick ass. Now today's helmet worn by Peacemaker is an X-ray helmet, you know, and he wears his X-ray helmet, and him and Adebayor are teaming up, Hardcore and Vigilante are teaming up. They go through the front door, Peacemaker and Adebayor, and the first thing he does is start shooting the shit out of people, blowing their brains out. Absolutely loved it, and I knew he wasn't just being gun ho. I knew he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
And then
Like if this would have been Peacemaker from the Suicide Squad movie, like we didn't have much interaction with him, the past couple episodes, I would believe he would probably start just shooting people. But like now that we've gotten to know the character over the past, like 5 episodes, that's my thought too. I'm like, no, I don't think he's being trigger happy. I think I think he knows something, and then of course he does. He's got the X-ray things.
exactly, and he mentioned that to Adebayor and stuff, and then the whole fortress is pretty much everyone there is a butterfly dude. Now, the butterfly people, they kind of reminded me a cross between the invasion of the body snatchers and zombies. Have you seen the old school 70s version
Not no, not.
with Donald Sutherland?
I don't think so. It's I've seen of it. Like I've seen clips of it. I've never actually sat down and watched the movie.
It's one of the few films where the bad guys win. I just remember that final scene at the end where there's one particular girl who's able to immerse herself amongst the body snatchers by just being emotionless. That's how you act when you're around the body snatchers. Just have no emotion. And then she sees Donald Sutherland's character thinking, yeah, he's around, and she waves to him, trying to get his attention. But she then doesn't realize that he's been taken over, and he points at her and starts screaming at her the way the butterfly people were screaming and stuff like that. But then the butterfly people start running at the door like zombies and stuff as well. So this is one of the moments we saw in the trailers where Peacemaker has a grenade and he's
Strapped to a Russian rocket.
to a tank shell.
Or was it a tank shell? I thought it was a rocket.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It was it's tank shell. I'm thinking Jesus Christ, and then dear God, I almost missed it. Yeah, and then because in that particular room, Hardcore and Vigilante are trapped, so he saves them by blowing up a whole bunch of butterfly people. And I like the way they dived out of the way of the explosion too. Very cheesy.
Well, that's been in all the promotional material. That dive out of the explosion. Like
Yep.
that's been in the promo material for a long time.
Yeah, and then we get into that room where Hardcore and Vigilante are, and there is a gorilla who's also under the influence of the butterfly. Now, I initially thought that this gorilla was Gorilla Grodd. Did you?
I thought it was a possibility. I'm like either that or the Ultra Humanite, who's also although he's more of a white gorilla. Like he looks like a silver gorilla. But I mean, but still, I mean, I was thinking more along the lines of Grodd. I was like, oh, could this be Grodd? And the more it went on, I'm like, no, I think this is just a monkey or a gorilla influenced by the butterflies.
Like gorilla, obviously, and this is kind of harkening back to the PowerPoint presentation they had earlier regarding how a monkey has like 3 times the strength of a human. God knows what a gorilla has then, because that gorilla was fucking them up, and they were trying to fight it. They were shooting it, and it was taking the bullets and stuff like that. And then eventually, John comes in to save the day with a fucking chainsaw, something the vigilante wanted to use earlier but wasn't allowed to, but they all wanted to be covert. And he comes in, and I was thinking to myself, I wonder how Bobby's feeling about this right now. Another animal being killed, and he fucking guts it. The back of it, he comes through his belly and stuff like
I think,
that.
yeah, I think once the animal started talking, I don't know. I mean,
Well,
I still had a soft spot for it, but I feel like because it was talking, it was like an alien, like you know what I mean. Like, I mean,
well, it was under the influence of a butterfly, so.
yeah,
And we found that these butterflies pretty much can go in anybody's head. So whether they're animal or human being, but nevertheless, this was still an innocent gorilla because it was under the influence. It's not like it want, but never, but regardless, it was killing off the Argos team, and so John comes in with a fucking chainsaw and fucking kills it, and by doing so, he gets the respect of Peacemaker. And you see them like being bros for a bit. Vigilante's a bit jealous about it as well, but he wanted to do the chainsaw
yeah.
thing as well.
I honestly thought that was going to be a hook for the end of the season. Like, I honestly thought he was gonna keep mentioning it. Like, I want to do the chainsaw, and I mean, it still probably can happen. But like, I feel like the last episode, sometime Vigilante's gonna get the chainsaw somebody or chainsaw a bunch of people, whichever one they do. But I still feel like, I mean, as you can see right up here, I mean, the chainsaw with Vigilante has kind of been promoted hard. So literally, if you look at a picture there,
Mm-hmm.
and so I'm pretty sure that's not the last we get to see the chainsaw.
Okay, Daniel Vaughn says, "I love that after that, they're all after humans under the influence. Yet they're all under the influence of Waller. Yeah, they are. And well, Waller does have a battery. Does have a bomb in Peacemaker's head, so he's got no choice but to follow orders in that particular department. But yeah, you see them celebrating in the back of the van as they're driving off, listening to music, all covered in blood and stuff like that. And they were finally a team. No no bullshit. It was really cool. They're all like listening to rock music and dancing, and Hardcore takes a picture of them as well, all being
Which
buds.
I didn't like that, only because like I don't know, like I felt like Harcourt's character at this point, like she wouldn't give two shits. Like she might like be smiling with them, but she wouldn't give two shits about like taking a picture and sending it to him. I feel like that would be more of like either uh the Diebeard or what's her face? I can never remember.
Adebayo.
Yeah, her thing. Like I felt like that would have been her Diebeard or her shtick. Like to do that, the selfie and everything. It felt out of character for Harcourt. You know what I mean? Like, and maybe she's just playing the tough girl. Like, I don't want to look like I care, but I actually do care about this group. But they've done a really good job at making it look like she really doesn't care about this group. She's just there to do a job.
I
So
don't mind a little bit of her. You can't help sometimes who you end up being friends with sometimes, or working with, and they have this camaraderie. Peacemaker saved her life. John saved their lives. She owes them to a degree because they were getting fucked over by that gorilla. So Peacemaker was the one who blew the door open and killed all those butterfly people whilst they were trapped in that room with the gorilla. And obviously John came in with a chainsaw. So even she's allowed to soften up a little bit. You can't be like hard ass all the time.
well, that's why I was more expecting her to crack a smile, not be like selfie time.
Oh,
Like,
she took a picture of them without her being in the
well,
picture.
okay, so not a selfie, but yeah, like picture time, group picture. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, they go back to base, and afterwards, after talking about what's happened, Clemens just says, you know what, you guys deserve the rest of the day off, so go home. And as Peacemaker's going home, Adebayor's with her, and they're having laughs and jokes and stuff like that, talking about things. Oh, and by the way, Adebayor, she also has been earlier on in this episode. She was given a task to do, which was to leave a diary at Peacemaker's place. So
Earlier
this
in
was
the
her.
season, yeah. Wasn't that the first episode?
I can't remember, but I definitely got a reminder in this episode, to do that particular task. So she's been invited back to Peacemaker's place. Peacemaker is not making a move on her. At first, she thought he was, yeah, because that's Peacemaker for you. But he says that the gorilla broke his dick, so don't worry about it, which is a nice way of saying, "Don't worry, Adebayo. I'm not going to try and bang you. I know you're a lesbian and all of that sort of shit." And yeah, they start talking about hardcore because obviously he's infatuated over her. And they start talking about other things and says, that he's a hero and stuff. They drink a cocktail of a various alcohol and some of that honey vomit as well, which made them want to puke and stuff. Adebayo takes a sip, tries to spit it in the toilet, but there's a fucking eagle in there. It's crazy. But eventually, Peacemaker has to delete the lizard, and she sneaks that diary. So, what do you think that diary is all about?
I feel like it's them trying to fuck with him because
Yeah, for sure.
but I don't know if like what the end goal is. Like, are they just trying to make him come unhinged? Or like, you know what I mean? Like, are they like what are they trying to point him in a certain direction with that with that type of uh you know clue or whatever? I don't I mean I'm trying to figure it out. It seems a bit odd, but James Gunn sometimes has a roundabout way, like a weird roundabout way of doing things that sometimes pays off in the end. But I feel like it's just kind of like something to prod him in the right direction of what they're looking for.
Yeah, exactly. There was some sneaky spy stuff done by Adebayo, and they don't even know that she's Amanda Waller's daughter yet. I'm sure that will definitely be, ousted at some point during
Oh
the
yeah.
show. So
Does not Mur how do you say his name? I'm so bad. Mern.
Mern, yeah.
Does Mern know? I can't remember.
I
Does
don't
Mern know
know.
that she's Amanda Waller's daughter?
I don't know, but she also, by the way, Adebayo has been having some problems with her partner. Now her partner just wants to get to know her, spend some time with her, and like just speak to her for a little bit. But Adebayo has been quite evasive with her partner, just trying to get to work and stuff. Obviously, what she's doing is very dangerous. And by the way, I totally forgot to mention how she was shooting people after they were already dead, which was
Yeah. Well, it reminded me of that episode of. Did you see Punisher season 2?
yeah.
Yeah. So there's the one part where Punisher, I think he's in trouble, and or someone's in trouble, and then the girl of that season, like the one that Punisher's trying to save, like shot the guy, and he wasn't dead. And Punisher walks up, she's like, oh my god, I shot him. Oh my god, I killed him. Oh my god, I killed him. And Punisher grabs the gun and he shoots him in the head. He's like, no, I killed him. You just shot him.
Yeah.
I
And,
it reminded me of that.
which is why, and just to go on our tangent here, this is why I've said that Punisher is a hero, not an anti-hero, because he cares for the feelings of people, and in this particular sense, he wanted, he really cared for this young girl's feelings, and didn't want her to be riddled with guilt of maybe killing someone, even though that person fucking deserved it.
Yeah.
He's a good guy, man. People forget that.
I know that's like one of my favorite parts of season 2. I was just like, I like that's I'm sorry, I like season 2 of Punisher. Was it as good as season 1? No. But like not to go on a tangent, but like I thought season 2 was also really good in its own right, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, back on track, I guess.
Okay. So Adebayo then after leaving a message to her partner, telling her to be safe and she loves her and stuff like that, because her relationship is going a bit haywire since she's been working full time with Argos. It's a bit restless and goes back to base and just fucks around there for a little bit. Mern is working on something, by the way. I couldn't really tell, but he was definitely wiring some shit. And then she sees Peacemaker's helmet. And then I knew what was going to happen before it happened.
Oh, yeah. As soon as she grabbed that helmet, I'm like, oh, she's going to find out now. It's only her and Mern, and she has the helmet. I'm like, yeah, okay. I know where we're going with this.
And so she wears it and she starts tripping balls a little bit, seeing the outside world and stuff. Tells Mern, oh my God, Mern, you got to see this. And then as soon as she looks at Mern, she sees the butterfly in his head. and freaks out, and then Mern, oh my god, that was one of the most scariest moments in the show. Like he goes full on fucking zombie invasion body snatches on her, and she shits herself and chases her outside the building, and then it ends there. And this is where I agree with you, by the way. I think Mern is infected by one of the good butterflies. I think he has a good butterfly in him. Somebody who doesn't want to take over. No, because it's going to try and show that even though they're all butterflies and they can infect people, they are individuals still, even as butterflies. And this particular butterfly is trying to stop the takeover of Earth. And by the way, but what's happening on Earth right now is quite major. And you would think, someone like Superman who has X-ray vision, you know, would know about these things. He could
I mean, Amanda Waller's keeping it off the book because they even said in this episode
off the book, but we're talking about people all over the world infected by butterflies. Whether she keeps it off the book or not, he just needs to come across one, and he'll see it instantly. And
I mean, I don't disagree with you, but at the same time, this is one of those moments where you have to kind of suspend reality because it's like the Avengers thing, like in all the individual Avengers movies, like. Yeah, in all of these situations, would you just call in the Avengers? Of course you would, but budgets don't allow for that. So in real life, like in comic books, they do, but not in movies and TV shows. So I get where you're coming from, and I agree with you, but I feel like we have to kind of suspend rational thought for the fact that this is it's not a huge plot hole. Let me put it this way. Like it is a plot hole. You are correct, but it's not like a detrimental plot hole that can't be ignored to service the show.
Yeah, fair enough. Now, it seems also that the butterflies, even though they have infected regular people, they seem to be going after powerful people. People in politicians, influencers.
Yeah, not metahumans, like people of power.
Yeah. I'm not sure if they could, I'm not sure if a butterfly would be able to take over somebody like a Superman.
It just depends on how it works. Because I mean, they basically said it. They used because if Superman's body chemistry is almost the same as ours, which I don't think it is. Then I mean, because really all it does is it gets onto your brain, and then it releases chemicals into your body that makes you subservient to it. So I mean, it just depends on because could this thing could this thing take over Superman's body? Like it could theoretically if the toxin that it releases when it's in your brain, because it can go in an orifice. Superman has orifices, so I mean, it could technically get in there. And if the toxin that it releases or chemical reaction that it releases, I know I'm boring you, but it could technically interact with his body in the way that would make them be able to take him over.
You're not boring me, but he's like, he's got super senses.
Mm-hmm.
He'd be able to hear that fucking butterfly before it came anywhere near
He's
his
got
ear.
super speed too. He probably would. I mean, I'm just saying if it somehow got into him, he would probably stop it before it even got in. All he'd have to do is use his cold breath and freeze it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It would start to crawl up there. All he'd have to do is close his mouth and try to blow through his nose really hard, and then it'd freeze in his nose and he'd pull it out. So I mean, yeah. I mean, if the situation was if the situation presented itself and it was able to get to his brain without him getting rid of it or stopping it, maybe. But at the same time, I don't think it matters for the show. I've spent too much time explaining it.
No. I mean, these things need to be done. When you are, I do understand about budgetary reasons and all of that sort of stuff. But when you're doing a shared universe with various other superheroes, even though you're not focusing on those other superheroes, but if this superhero Peacemaker is in the same universe as Superman, Batman, Flash, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, they're sharing these universes with these fuckers. Yeah. Then these questions have to be answered. And like I said, this is a worldwide sort of epidemic going on as well. So the fact that Peacemaker is the one who's trying to stop this, when this would be just as important for the Justice League to deal with, in my opinion, with the invasion of fucking butterflies, into human beings. I'm just, like, yeah,
But
it's just, yeah.
it also makes me think that there's something else going on, like with Amanda Waller and the government behind all this, because you're right. Like, you figure this would be, if this was an actual invasion, like, you figure that they would call in the Justice League once this got out of hand. I feel like there's something that somebody's trying to hide, because keep in mind, we do have a good guy butterfly. So I wonder if the government,
Well,
like,
it hasn't been established yet.
well, it hasn't been, okay, it hasn't been established yet, but we're
Yeah,
90,
we're projecting.
80% sure. Yeah, but that's what we're projecting. But like, so, it's, I feel like there's still somebody trying to cover something up, and that's why this is not a big public matter. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I think there's a big
You,
cover up. Like, Amanda Waller invited these aliens, and she was trying to work with them, and then they betrayed her. But that's why Mern's Butterfly was so loyal, because he wanted to work with the government and stuff like that. And something that somebody did wrong that they don't want to get out, and they're trying to take care of it quietly. That's why they're using Peacemaker and Vigilante and this Black Ops team. Because if this got out, it would probably cost, like, Amanda Waller her job, or somebody their job. You know.
has this butterfly thing been done before in comics?
I think their alien race is in. I'll double check. I think I read that they were from the comic books, but I mean, they're like not anything like what they are in the show. Hold on.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I'm just curious because it does. I'm not sure if this is an original concept. There are certain original characters. Clemens Merns is an original character, by the way, and so is the person who he spoke to, that police chief, who he made police chief. He's an original character too, but I'm not sure if these butterflies are original characters. But they could be a hybrid or something else.
I mean, I kind of look. I'm kind of perusing through online. I don't see anything in here regarding the comics of butterflies. So I would say, I mean, there's a Madam Butterfly, but there's not like an actual butterfly.
Alien butterflies, DC comics, something
Yeah,
like that. Yeah.
that's what I'm doing. I mean,
All right, okay. Well, once it's already funny that I feel like we're getting that the next episode should start the beginning of the end game. Hey, William Wells, how you doing, mate? You watching Peacemaker, William Wells? With John Cena, you can't see him when he's wearing a helmet.
yeah, I don't think there's any reference to butterflies in the comics. That's kind of what I was looking at, and I don't see anything in here besides referencing Peacemaker, the show.
Okay, fair enough. I was just curious. That's all. Yeah, but
No, I mean, I wanted
now
to know too. I think I read somewhere that that they weren't anything in the comics, but I, or something like that. I don't remember, honestly.
well, like I said, I do feel the next episode will be the beginning of the end game. It's only it's going to be interesting to see. They've got to tie. Well, I don't want to say tie up a few threads, but Peacemaker's dad is an interesting thread. I don't know where they're going to go with this. Initially, I thought he'd be the leader of some sort of white supremacist organization. If they're still going to go down that route, it felt like Vigilante did put a spanner in the works, as we say in my country, a monkey in the wrench, or whatever the fucking guys you say in your country. So we'll see how that pans out. But I wanted to know a little bit more. We got to understand how the butterflies operate and work, but we don't know much more about them. But we'll see what happens. And obviously, the diary is going to play its part to be some sort of brain fuck as well. And after an excellent episode of Vigilante last week, there wasn't much of him this week, unfortunately.
Yeah. No. Yeah. He man, Vigilante after last week's episode, he was one of my favorite. He's one of my favorite characters of the whole series so far. Like, just solidifying that. And now, yeah, this episode, it's like he had a funny bit with the chainsaw. And then he just kind of got jealous at the end and he didn't really say much either. Like, when they were in the facility and stuff. I don't think he did.
Oh, you know who might save Adebayor if it turns out that what's his face is is actually a bad guy. You know who might come to rescue Adebayo? Judo Master. He's still alive. Remember?
Is he? Oh,
Yeah, he's still alive. They never killed him off, and he wasn't in this episode today. But Adebayo shot him square in the chest, but he survived, and then they kept him alive by basically putting him on a drip and keeping him on a couch, even though the fucker needs to be going to hospital. But nevertheless, that's what they did. And if he does come back from that, maybe he does a bit more, meditation whilst he's on ice. Maybe he heals himself a little bit quicker, and he comes in to save Adebayo. It definitely won't be Peacemaker, in my opinion. It could be Adebayo's girlfriend. She might come in. Maybe she puts a tracker on Adebayo's phone or something along those lines. Harcourt could pop in. You never know. Maybe
I mean, she was at
Vigilante.
the bar, but it just depends on how far away that bar is from the base. You know what I mean? Like, because the last we saw her, she was at the bar.
Well, we saw her at the bar whilst
Sending the-
Peacemaker and Adebayo were going back to Peacemaker's place, but we don't know if she was still at the bar after that. She might have left and decided to go back to the office and all of those things. I do feel Adebayo is going to be saved. Who knows? It could be Walla.
I mean, I really don't feel like they're going to kill her off. I mean, if they do that, they've got a lot of balls like that. I mean, not that I want her to go, but I mean, like that's ballsy to get rid of that character.
I like her, by the way. I like Adebayo. She's a good character. She's a fish out of water. She's in there because of nepotism. She doesn't belong with these people. She's not a killer. She hasn't killed anyone yet. So she's come close to it. So it'll be interesting to see where they go with her. I do feel she will be saved. If they were going to kill her, I think they would have ended episode 5 with her being killed instead of almost being killed. So, all right, what's here? I found a DVD movie that has Jamie Costa in it at Dollar Tree. What's it called, William Wells? I'm curious.
I was to say we've got we're got one or two other Jamie Costa films that we've got to watch. There's a Jurassic Park one that we have to watch.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, I sent that to you last night. You didn't see? I mean, you don't have to watch it, obviously, but yeah, it's called Jurassic Park Exodus, and Jamie Costa's one of the stars. There's two. It looks like from just the minute or two I watched, it looks like there's two leads in it.
Okay, I need to see more eagerly helping Peacemaker fight in the battle. Yeah, me too, mate.
Yeah, but I mean, the CG. Then we're gonna get crap CG. So you have to kind of pick your poison. Do you want quality or quantity? And I mean, if you're okay with quantity and it not being that great a quality, then that's fine. I mean, I can forgive CG sometimes. Like I know, like it's a big budget production and stuff like that. But honestly, I don't feel like they in these DC projects for HBO Max, I don't feel like they put the same amount of money into these that Disney Plus does with that Disney Plus puts on with like all the Marvel and Star Wars stuff. I expect more out of Star Wars and Marvel than I do out of like a DC product because the budgets are totally different.
Okay, so apparently the name of this movie is
Robot
called
Riot.
Robot Riot. God, it sounds like Terminator.
Well, I mean, not to jump too far ahead, but we are trying to watch as many of the Jamie Costa films as we can because we've been dabbling in doing a ranking of all the Jamie Costa performances and or fan films. We haven't decided yet if we're going to go based on his performance in the fan film or the fan film as a whole with him in it. So I don't know. We'll figure that out.
I just want this actor to be like a big star in Hollywood because he
deserves it.
He deserves it. He's very versatile. From Wolverine to Robin Williams, for Christ's sake. Various pop culture characters like Han Solo and Obi-Wan as well. This guy is a phenomenal actor, and he broke the mold with Robin Williams' performance. It was absolutely phenomenal. And it felt like he should have just won an Oscar in that 5-minute clip. But I'm going too much on a tangent here. He was so fucking good, man. You're begging for a fucking Robin Williams movie after that.
Oh yeah.
Just tired of the bathroom bird not helping out. Yeah, I know what you mean, but it's not like it's it's not like what's the name of that? What's the name of Superboy's dog?
Crypto.
It's not like Crypto, is it? You know, it's more. It's not a super powered animal. It just happens to be a very obedient bird, but like it just I don't know. I wish I don't know how they could use it. You know, and if Eagerly gets killed, I think people are going to be really unhappy. You know,
Oh
it's
god, if they
fucking,
kill Eagly, I feel like that's going to be like anarchy. Like,
mate, it's like a symbol of your country, dude. The bald eagle.
oh
You
please.
know,
Here's the thing though about bald eagles is that they don't sound anything like you think. Like, have you ever heard a bald eagle screech or like caw or whatever that it's called? You know that whenever you see a bald, and I know I'm getting on another tangent, but you know that whenever you hear a bald eagle like in like movies or something like that, and they're like caw, caw, you know that's not even a bald eagle's call. Like it actually sounds pretty pathetic if you listen to it. Look up list
fair enough.
after this. Look up bald eagle like bald eagle calls or something like that. It sounds pathetic. They actually used in like movies and stuff when you see like the bald eagle sound effects. They actually use I think it's like a red wing hawk or something like that because it sounds
It
more
sounds
like
cooler.
yeah, it sounds cooler. I kid you not. Look it up. I mean
I'm not surprised.
yeah, I'm sitting there going, well, God damn it, we can't even have a bird that sounds cool. Like we got people that sound stupid as shit. Now we got a bird that sounds stupid as shit too.
There's a football club in England, in London to be more precise, called Crystal Palace, and they have a bald eagle as their mascot and stuff. It's
Do
pretty
they
cool.
does it actually like does the bald eagle actually like is it a
My
real bald
right?
eagle or just a logo?
Yes, it's a real bald eagle. I mean, they have a logo of it as well and stuff. Yeah, but yeah, the bald eagle is their thing, and it's weird as well. It's a bold fucking eagle as well. Like, yeah, it's not like a. But the bald eagle is a bird that comes from America. It's not a European bird or a British bird.
Yeah.
But so, nevertheless, yeah, it's just a little bit of trivia I thought I'd give you guys. Okay, so what do you think is going to happen next week?
I mean, I think you're right. I think we're gonna gear up for the end of the how many episodes are in this again?
8 episodes. We're in episode 5, so 6, 7, and 8 left.
Okay, so we have 3 episodes left. I mean, we're obviously going to figure out Mern's deal, like whatever's going on in there. As I said, we're both predicting that he's going to be a good butterfly. I feel like the butterflies in the next episode will probably up the ante now that they realize they've been discovered. And they're
What
going
do
to
they
start.
want? We haven't found out that. We know they're infecting people, but there's no. What's their goal? What the hell?
What?
I think my bird flicked something at me and it just fell down my arm.
Good job. Good job. What do you call her? Fat and juicy. Good job, fat.
I call her fatty, juicy. My big fat. I call her my big fat juicy. Yeah. So yeah. And I always tell
But
her I'm
yeah,
gonna eat
I
her.
feel like that's kind of where we're heading at this point. I mean, we're just kind of, I don't know, just.
You think we're gonna lose a member of the team?
I think we're gonna lose. Here's the thing: if Mern turns out to be a good butterfly, we're gonna lose him. Like
Yeah.
I feel like at the end, by the end, if we find out Mern is a good butterfly by the end of the next episode or the episode leading into or the penultimate episode, we will lose Mern because he will make some sacrifice or it'll be we thought he was a bad guy, now he's a good guy, and then he dies, kind of thing. I don't think we're gonna lose Vigilante or Harcourt. I maybe Diebeard, maybe, but I don't think so, honestly. And I don't think about the other lady. Why can I never remember her name?
Adebayo.
Anabayo. I gotta write it down because I just can never remember it. But I definitely don't think we're gonna lose her. She seems to be like the heart of the whole team. So like, I mean, if they killed off Harcourt or Diebeard, that would be some serious balls. I mean, maybe Vigilante but I don't know. I wouldn't want that.
We still need to see that White Dragon suit. Yeah, that is like the sort of subplot regarding the alternative bad guys in this. I mean, there are two alternative bad guys. There's the white supremacist White Dragon, which is related obviously to Peacemaker, as well as Argus themselves. You know, they're never squeaky clean in all of this. You know, they are the necessary evil, so to speak. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, I do feel we're going to end on a cliffhanger regarding this season as well. I don't think everything will be completed. Um, and I'm happy for this show so far because did you know that Peacemaker is actually more popular than Book of Boba Fett?
Well, that's good. I mean that does not surprise me only because I've heard a lot of traction for Peacemaker and I've heard a lot of shit for Boba Fett. And I mean, I'm not gonna jump on my soapbox about Boba Fett. I'm way past that point. I feel like that the fans are speaking and what they want. You know what I mean? Like the fans are speaking as to what they want to see. People our age who grew up with, and not me, but who loving Boba Fett, didn't want to see this watered down Disney Plus Kingpin esque Boba Fett. They wanted to see him be a motherfucking gangster, and
Yeah, I
he's not.
agree.
And so
Just
I
saw
think
the
the fans are speaking on this fact, and Disney just needs to figure out what to do. Because I mean, I you know me, I'm very for kid friendly stuff and everything, but I'm also for adult oriented stuff. When it comes when it's when you can do it, and that goes for Disney too. Everything Disney does not have to have that goddamn Mickey Mouse stamp on it when it's supposed to be something that's hardcore like the
I
Kingpin.
agree.
So
Just saw the trailer based on PlayStation game called Uncharted. Mark Wahlberg is in it. Yeah, Mark Wahlberg is. Hold on the game. Mark Wahlberg's in the game. I know Mark Wahlberg is playing Sully
no.
in
I
the
just saw the
movies.
trailer based on the PlayStation games
Oh,
called
oh, oh
Uncharted.
sorry.
Yeah.
My bad. My bad.
So he's
Um,
referring to the movie with Tom
yeah,
Holland and
yeah.
Mark Wahlberg coming out.
And Mark, did you know Mark Wahlberg was supposed to play Nathan Drake initially, but then like too many years went by, and eventually he ended up playing Sully. For fuck's
Which is
sake.
crazy because he doesn't even like get freaking Tom Hanks as Sully. I mean,
No, fuck that. I want oh god, his name escapes me now. The guy who plays Ash Williams in Evil
oh,
Dead,
John Campbell,
Bruce Campbell.
Bruce Campbell. Yeah, there we go.
Bruce Campbell will be ideal as
Yeah,
Sully.
I could see
Absolutely,
that. I'm
yeah,
trying to think.
absolutely.
You really should just have Nolan North play Nathan Drake. Like the guy looks like Nathan Drake. I mean, if he gets fit, like he's not like unfit, like he's not fat or anything, but he's like,
No, but he's a bit short. Like Nathan Drake's like a 6 footer,
is he really? I
and
always thought
yeah, he's
Nathan
like.
Drake was shorter. Maybe that's just because Sully was always taller.
But I would like someone like Bradley Cooper. Bradley Cooper would be a perfect Nathan Drake. He's got the wisecrackingness about him as well.
I don't know. Honestly, I could see, you know who I could see, and you're gonna hate me for suggesting this, but I could see
Well,
Ryan Reynolds be a Nathan
Ryan
Drake.
Reynolds would be a great Nathan Drake.
Okay, well, I didn't know
Great.
if you'd hate me for that suggestion or not,
No,
but yeah, I
but
could see
my only thing is that he needs to people. I think people would still compare him to Deadpool because
because of the
his
deadpan humor, or
and
not
the
deadpan humor.
wisecracks,
Yeah, the
the
wisecracks.
wise and stuff like that.
But
And
here's the
so
thing: is that Nolan North, the guy who voiced Nathan Drake, also plays Deadpool in a lot of the games
yeah,
and
yeah.
cartoons and stuff. So it's like it just like
Well, Nathan
it's all
Fillion
meta,
played him as
man. It's
well.
all meta.
Yeah, as long as they're both being talked about, comparisons of the two are apples and oranges. Yeah,
What
I
is?
guess. I think he's talking about. I don't know.
I think
he's
he's
talking
talking about
about
the
Mark
shows.
Wahlberg.
I think he was talking about the Disney Plus versus the DC shows that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, well, the DC shoes are more adult orientated for a start.
And and they do a
you have
wonderful job
this
at it.
Titans is adult orientated too.
Mm-hmm.
And they definitely go down that road, and I very much appreciate it for that. Being somebody who's not a kid anymore, You know, I want my adult orientated stuff. And the most recent episode of Mandalorian, where you had sorry, Book of Boba Fett, that was a Freudian slip right there.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
You know, like he's cutting people in half, and then it's amazing when Disney goes there. It's always amazing because you think to yourself, "Shit, Disney's gone there," and that's just so unlike Disney. Mark playing Victor, it's in Uncharted when he's young. Yeah, maybe they expect to do a franchise out of it for the next 10, 15 years.
I mean,
Yeah.
maybe we should do like a discussion roundtable sometime about Uncharted game versus movie, or maybe just wait till the movie comes out. But
Yeah, we have to wait till the movie comes up because right now a lot of people are not feeling it. They're not feeling it at all.
I
You
don't
know,
I don't
like
think it's going to be that good. Like I think it's going to be kind of like Tomb Raider, like not the newer one. Like it's going to be fine, but it's just going to be what it is. You know what I mean? Like
we've had like stabs at India, like Indiana Jones. The first three movies have been fantastic, and there has been other films that have tried to replicate that. We've had King Solomon's Mines with fucking Richard Chamberlain. We've had the Tomb Raider movies as well. I think there's been a couple of other films like Romancing the Stone and stuff like that, but it just, and I'm sure there is one or two other films, The Mummy and all of that, but it just doesn't like to replicate that formula has it's just not been there. And I'll tell you the thing that's come closest to replicating it is the Uncharted video games. The Uncharted video games have been as a movie, you know, as a movie spectacle, have become very, very close to what of the spirit of Indiana Jones. And I just want something similar to that now. Somebody who loves those movies, I really would love something close to that. And I know we're getting Indy 5, but I'm not looking forward to that after what we got with Indy 4, which was an absolute disgrace. And it kind of shows you that great directors with age end up becoming shit directors. Spielberg, Ridley Scott, George Lucas, as good as they once were in the past, they're not that good anymore.
yeah, I mean they just
And
show up at that point and then they get their paycheck.
well, they kind of get lost up their own asshole a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I'm looking for the only good thing about Indy 5 is that it's got a new director, but we'll see where that goes. William Wells, Tom Holland plays Nathan Drake. Yeah, Tom Holland's playing Nathan Drake, dude. You know, it's like babyface Nathan Drake. I mean, he could play Nathan Drake as a kid. You know, like we got in the flashback episodes, the flashback scenes in Uncharted 3 and 4. But I'm not sure if I would like him to be Nathan Drake as an adult.
I think he's too old. Like at this point, like maybe when he like was doing like Captain America or Captain America Civil War and Homecoming, he might have been able to get away with like being the young Nathan Drake. I feel like right now he's too in between. Like
Yeah,
like
he's
he's
25
too,
years old now.
yeah, he's too old to play young Nathan Drake, but he's too young to play modern day mature Nathan Drake. I just feel like he's in that in between spot, and it's just like I get that you want to start them off at the beginning and make a franchise out of this, but I just don't think it's going to happen. I think this is going to be a mediocre movie that I know we're way off topic now, but like a mediocre movie that just won't deliver.
Yeah. Wahlberg is not good enough an actor to be a lead in a series of movies. He's a one-shot actor. I'll tell you who is also not good enough. Actually, I don't say not good enough, but he's been choosing bad roles. Daniel Vance. It's also Tom Holland himself. Outside of Spider-Man, the stuff Tom Holland has done is absolutely fucking shit. He's not like Zendaya, who's picked really good roles outside of Spider-Man. His non-Spider-Man roles have been fucking awful. So he's lucky that he's Spider-Man because a lot of these actors, outside of their MCU stuff, they haven't picked anything good at all.
Mm-hmm.
I would say Chris Evans I say Eyes Wide Shut in oh god Knives Out. That's the name of the movie. His role in that was excellent. I thoroughly enjoyed him, and I think Chris Hemsworth has done some good roles, but they just haven't been recognised as well. The Impossible was brilliant. I haven't seen that. But I seen Cherry. And oh my god, Cherry's awful. Cherry's fucking awful, man. Um, I was really disappointed with Cherry because when I first saw the clips of Cherry, I thought he was playing like a junkie throughout the movie, but it was only a part of his period of his time. Um, I would love to have seen Tom Holland play a junkie. You know, it'd be a good role for him to play. It would really show his range and stuff like that. And as far as Mark Wahlberg's concerned, I mean, like his films in the late 90s, early 2000s were some of his more memorable stuff. I loved him in Four Brothers. Oh, Ewan McGregor, huh? Yeah, okay, fair enough.
I like
Looking
Ewan
forward to
McGregor.
him.
I think, I mean, he's almost 50, 60. What is
Yeah,
he?
he's 50. He's old. I think he's 50 now, but the guy is in great shape, you know. So
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna, he kind of, like, if you've seen him recently, he pretty much looks like he looked back when he was in the prequels. Like, I mean, you throw a beard on him and it's like you almost can't tell that a ton of time has passed.
yeah, yeah, I agree, and I'll be looking forward to seeing his performance as Obi-Wan in um in the Obi-Wan series. Just be prepared to pull your eyes out. Okay, we'll do. Nathan Fillion. Yeah, I mentioned about Nathan Fillion. He is in a fan film of playing Nathan Drake, and that's a really good fan film, by the way. If you guys have seen it, it feels like a scene from an Uncharted game. They copy a lot of elements of the game. You see some of the moves he does, like from the first Uncharted movie, Uncharted game, where he does that sort of drop kick and stuff like that.
Yeah, but
He does
I feel
that
like he's, I don't know.
too old now.
I
A
feel
bit
like he's,
chunky.
yeah, oh no, I just feel like he's getting too old to do something like that.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, look, these actors end up. People want Idris Elba to play James Bond. I have no problem with Idris Elba being James Bond. I don't care that he's black. I just care that he's too fucking old now. He's in his 50s. You know, like like 10 years ago, you give it a shot. He could have had a trilogy of movies
Yeah,
in
now
those
it's
10
like he
years.
would have to be one and done, or at least at least a trilogy in like a short span, which for James Bond just doesn't. I don't feel like that works. Like James Bond and Mission Impossible and all those in my opinion, those type of movies don't work in like every other year increments. You got to put some time between the movies. Like those are not movies that you can have come out every other year, like Spider Man and all MCU movies and stuff like that.
I just want to find out how Tom Cruise is because he's doing his seventh. He's 59, man.
Yeah, he's almost
You
60.
know, he's almost 60, yeah, but he's been doing Mission Impossible for a long time. So it's not like he's starting a franchise. He's been involved, and he's his own stunt man as well.
I think the first one came out almost 30 years ago. I think it was 95 or 96. So I mean, it's over 25 years ago. Am I doing my math right?
Yeah.
I think I
Um, I'm gonna quickly have a quick look at his IMDb. Uh, Mission Impossible came out in 1996, so over
yeah,
25 years ago, 26 years ago.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
Um,
it's been a long time, and there's only, and granted, I'm glad that it's this way, but I mean, it. There's only been what, 6 movies in that 20. So I think that's good that there's a lot of space between the movies, because honestly, I feel I hate it when those types of movies get too congested. You know, so
I just want people to know that regarding Tom Cruise, you should check out on YouTube. We've done a Tom Cruise tier list, and it's amazing that for a big portion of his career, he was a dramatic actor. With no action movies at all. People might say Top Gun, but really, what sort of action is he physically doing? He's just in the fucking cockpit. When it came to actually doing action, it was Mission Impossible, and that was way into his career by then. He was already a very established star, and now he's become a stuntman actor as well. And he's the best thing. He's like he's the Jackie Chan of America. You know what I mean? James Bond running with the Walker. Yeah. Well, Roger Moore was in his 50s when he did A View to a Kill, and not many people like that one. By the way, I love View to a Kill. I think View to a Kill is awesome with Christopher Walken as a fucking Nazi, as a as a Nazi test tube baby. Yeah, man, it's fucking awesome. So yeah, I very much like View to a Kill. It's a good one, even though Roger Moore was way too old by that particular time, and his Bond girl was like in her like 20s at the time as well. It was a bit creepy. Well, 54-year-old Roger Moore and a 20-year-old Bond girl. But that's how Hollywood is. Anyway, we've been yappering on Tangent City big time.
Tangent
Now,
Station, baby.
now tomorrow, if we can get the boys together, will be the preview of WWE Royal Rumble 2022.
Also, I don't know if you saw, but there was some kind of I know this isn't a big deal. But didn't I think Disney and WWE signed a deal in Indonesia where WWE content's going to come out on Disney Plus in Indonesia. I didn't know if you saw that or not, but I was like, I wonder if they're going to talk about that tomorrow. I'll send you the article out of here. I just saw it not too long ago, but yeah,
I have to see Johnny English 3, by the way. I haven't seen the third one. It's like Johnny English, you just know it's just like one fuck up after the other. And by the way, Johnny English came about a bit like what's his face from who plays the American guy who plays the coach of English soccer teams. It came about through trailers. Johnny English was the character of Johnny English was a spy, and he was doing commercials for Barclaycard and stuff like that. And next, they turned that character into an actual movie star. And they've done the same with it. This guy who was in. I'm rambling on now. I'm a bit tired. I do apologize, but they've done the same with this one particular guy who was an American guy who ended up being a football coach in England, a soccer coach in England, and that was just used as a joke in commercials, and they made a series out of it. Okay, this is on Yahoo Entertainment, Disney exclusive WWE Network. Okay, I'll look into that. Mr. Bean, yeah.
I just found the article, but I mean, I don't think it's like everywhere. I think it's at Indonesia when I kind of glanced through the article. So I don't think it's like a major deal everywhere that WWE showed up on Disney Plus. But I'll be interested to see your guys' thoughts on that, because that might lead to future deals, but if it goes well between WWE and which I think is.
I'll tell you what, it means that WWE is going to be more PG than ever. Wow. If it's going to be a Disney Plus, but
I know, but you guys were predicting. Who was it? D Jose or was it?
I predicted that. And
you predicted that.
I got shut down. That Disney were going to buy WWE. And everyone knew it was not going to happen. But they haven't bought WWE. They've done a deal with them. By the way, Mr. Bean kind of made me really respect Rowan Atkinson as an actor, because before that, when I was watching Rowan Atkinson, he did stuff like Not the 9 O'Clock News and obviously the Blackadder series. And in that, he was playing a very sarcastic individual. But Mr. Bean was a totally 180 character, and also more physical acting as well. He did a lot of physical acting with Mr. Bean. There were some of the scenes he did where there was one scene where he wanted to get changed on the beach, but there was this guy he thought was looking at him the whole time, and so he somehow managed to put his beach shorts on whilst taking his trousers off at the same time without revealing anything. But then we end up realizing that the guy who we thought was looking at him the whole time was blind. So he wasn't looking at him; he was blind. He just happened to be staring facing in Mr. Bean's direction. So Mr. Bean thought he was staring at him. It was absolutely fucking hilarious. But that level of physical acting where Rowan Atkinson is putting on the shorts over his trousers, and then he fucking takes his trousers out under his shorts. Genius. What's your favorite Mel Brooks movie? Well, for me, it's Blazing Saddles. Blazing Saddles, without a doubt. A lot of people like Young Frankenstein and obviously Spaceballs. But me, Blazing Saddles for me is in the top 3 or 5 greatest comedies of all time. Life of Brian obviously is in there, the Monty Python one, and Blazing Saddles is definitely in there as well. I love Blazing Saddles. It is like when I first saw it, I was dying, and for that film is way ahead of its time as well. It mocked bigotry. It really did. It mocked, in the 70s when it came out. the way it mocked bigotry is it was just so ahead of its time. I love that film. You know, it's such a brilliant movie. It's one of my favorite films of all time, Blazing Saddles. I think about it now. You know, oh, it just it's it's Mel Brooks' best movie. You know, I'd find it very hard for somebody to come up with a better film than that. And I've seen all his movies. That's his best movie. A lot of the stuff he did was terrible. Um, but also not terrible. Was not as good as that movie. I don't know about you. If you've
I
seen
mean,
his stuff,
Spaceballs has always been my favorite, but I can see why Blazing Saddles. I mean, it's a good movie. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I can't fault you for loving that movie. History of the
I love
World.
it.
Yeah.
Did he do Springtime for Hitler as well? I can't remember. That was with Gene Wilder.
I don't
Um,
know. I don't. I'd have
no,
to.
the producers. It was called. It was called the producers, and
Hmm.
basically these guys wanted to try to make money by making a flop, and they did a Hitler musical called Springtime for Hitler, and because it was so soon after the war, the Second World War, they thought that this film would flop and end up becoming a massive hit. You know what I mean? So, but, you know, like you got people like doing like line dancing, going Z high, Z high, Z. You're like, what the fuck? Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, all right. Okay, we've been babbling on way too much now, ladies and gentlemen. We need to wrap this
Tangent
up.
Station, baby.
Tangent Station. Yeah, there's a lot to talk about. But yeah, like I said, tomorrow, if I can get my wrestling pals with us, we'll be doing a preview of the Royal Rumble. In my opinion, the best pay per view in wrestling. If you know your wrestling, I don't watch wrestling. Myself and Cheeto, formerly hardcore, and I'm talking hardcore wrestling fans, but we have dropped the ball on wrestling. We don't watch it as much. We're more voyeurs now, and even that's just that. Even that is being very a generous way of saying how we are with wrestling, like a little peek here and there. Thank you very much, guys. Much appreciated. But we still have a couple of friends who are very hardcore in wrestling. So we're going to get together with them and they're going to be talking about the Royal Rumble and who will possibly win it, who will be going to WrestleMania and all of that bullshit.
Stone
And
Cold's
obviously,
winning. That's my prediction. Stone Cold is winning.
and hopefully we'll get some more insight on what's been happening with wrestling as well recently. Maybe William and Jose could shed some more light regarding this Disney WWE deal in Indonesia of all fucking countries as well. Like why not spread it around a little bit in that part of the world? But okay, fair enough. All right, so please join us for that. We'll schedule that shortly for you guys so you know when to join us. But nevertheless, don't forget to like, share, subscribe to Nerd Tube. We are the greatest YouTube channel you never heard of. Variety of stuff on this page. So make sure you check it all out because we are the best. We're the greatest of all time. Take care. Bye bye. Live long and prosper, my friends.